Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. In this video we're going to continue on with the blood splatter effect script, and here's where we'd left off in the last lesson. We'd got our variables in place, we set the hit count and fade value to 0 on startup, and let's continue on. So first things first, in the void update we'll say if open brackets the underscore fade value double equals 0, we'll close brackets there, and we'll come straight into the comments. So we'll say if fade value equals 0, we'll come to the next line and we'll say return, and we'll close the line off. And as always we'll just put then do nothing and return. So let me explain the fade value. If we come here we can see the fade value reset is a value of 1 and the fade value is 0 on startup. So this is what we use to change the transparency of our textures. Now when the texture is set to 1, as it would be with the reset value, this is fully opaque, so the texture would have no transparency whatsoever. However, over time the fade value decreases back to 0, and when we're at a value of 0 as we are on startup, then the image is fully transparent and we cannot see it at all. And this is reason why this has to be a value of 1, as I explained in the last video. Because if you was to set this higher, it would not work correctly. It would still be fully opaque until it counted down to 1, and only then would the transparency be affected. Now on startup, when the game starts, obviously we're not being struck by the enemy, so we want a fade value of 0, so fully transparent. And if we are fully transparent, i.e. the fade value equals 0, then we don't need to do anything else. However, we'll come below. If the fade value is above 0, however, we need to say underscore fade value, and we want the minus equals the fade out speed, and as always we'll say times time dot delta time. We'll close the line off into the comments, and we'll just say minus fade speed from fade value, and we'll come below here, we'll say if open brackets fade value is less than 0, we'll close brackets into the comments. If fade value is less than 0, and we're just going to put the fix in, make fade value, so underscore fade value equal 0. We'll close the line off into the comments, then make fade value equal to 0. So if the texture is fully transparent, do nothing. Otherwise, we'll fade out the texture, and if we go below a value of 0, we'll set it to equal to 0. It will then come back here and do nothing again. And now we can come into the function here, enemy hits. And we want to say underscore, and what we want is to say hit count. We'll say plus, then equals enemy hits. We'll close the line off into the comments. Add enemy hits value to number of hits. So how this is going to work is from the enemy attack script is going to pass a value, an int value, into this variable. And obviously in this case it's always going to have a value of 1. And then we add it to the hit count. So we know how many times the player has been struck. And this is important because the more times the player is struck by the enemy, the deeper the blood effect on screen will appear. So now we can come below, underscore fade value, and we want to say equal fade value reset. We'll close the line off into the comments. Set fade value to equal reset value. So this function will only become active when the player is struck. So as I explained, the texture is fully transparent. However, this becomes active when the player is struck. We add 1 to our hit count because we've been hit once, and then we set the fade value to the fade value reset, which is 1, which is fully opaque, and then it can slowly fade out providing we're not getting struck again. And we'll come below here, and we want fade out speed, and we're going to say minus equals the underscore fade out speed modifier into the comments. Minus fade out modifier from fade speed. So this is our fade speed. This is how fast the reset, or the fade value should I say, is going to decrease once we've set it to the reset value, which is 1. So what this does is it slows down. We're taking 0.05 away from 0.25, so the fade out speed becomes 0.20. So the more time the player is struck, the slower the actual fade effect will occur. So that's just a little thing I decided to put in. You may not want that. If you do not, you can either delete or comment out these 2 lines here. But I'm going to leave it in my script. I'll leave you to experiment to decide if you want that effect as well. But I think we'll leave it here for this lesson. And in the next lesson, we'll deal with the GUI itself, the actual getting the textures to display on screen, and the activation of this block of code. So we'll leave it here for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you next time, and until then, as always, bye for now.